Welcome, everybody. So good to see you all. It's already a whole handful of people here, and as usual, from many parts of the world. So, for those of you who haven't met me before, don't know who I am, I'm Terry McGill. I've been studying with Dr. Master Zhi Gang Sha since November 2008, I believe it was, and I'm a certified master teacher of the Tao Academy. And what I want to offer to you is my experience, not only with Dr. Master Shah's teachings, but my application of them. Because it doesn't matter who the teacher is, if you don't get it, and if you can't put one and one together and get two, um, then study harder or find a teacher that you can relate to. So I've had 18 years of experience, or give or take something, and relating to finances. What tonight is going to be is I've got 25 or so slides, so you're going to be able to go back over through this. This is what, for me, has made the most sense in the clearest way. So, one size does not fit all. I understand that. Um, so what I've done is crafted these different slides with the major points. There are more, but this is not for advanced students. This is for some who may be brand new, some who may have never come across some concepts, and I want to make sure that I communicate as clearly as possible. So let me see if I can transform that's not working. That's not what I want. I want to transform the gallery so that I can, well, I'm not going to be able to move it off my screen. Okay, so let me adjust my screen. So tonight, or whatever time of day or night it is, wherever you are, and if you're watching the recording, doesn't matter what time it is. So the first, let me just go to the, well, hello, Terry. And I haven't said hello. Hello, Rachel, or yeah, Rochelle, and Sandy and Noel and Wendy Lynn and a couple of Wendy Lynn's here, and Ginger and everybody else. I know Holly and Sharon. You may see their names without a face there. They are the background support for this webcast, without which those of us who come on every Wednesday probably couldn't do much. Certainly wouldn't be as smooth. So let me make sure that I can, oh good, I can pull the screen up. So I am greatly challenged with going between the versions of PowerPoint and the computer, the laptop I have before and after it came back from getting fixed. So I'm unable to make the slide larger. I'm unable to get rid of the ribbon across the top. And so we just have to live with that. So this is transforming finances. And I already introduced myself. Come on, click. There we go. So our finances, just like every part of our life, it's our habits and our beliefs and and the unconscious beliefs and the unconscious habits that affect us. So if you don't have the flourishing that you would like to have, I understand. So Noel, take care of yourself. No worries. So tonight, I want to lead you through some experiences some of it is just plain teaching. You can go back to the slides. Don't try to take notes because I talk faster than you can write. And I add things that you might want to add on later. So tonight you're going to experience simple ways. I say simple because simple is best. The complex things, the mind gets in the way and the real value doesn't come through. That's my experience, and you're going to get my experience. So how do we align soul, heart, mind, and body? Well, first of all, let me jump onto an aside. In Dr. Master Sha's teachings, excuse me, that's the cough syrup, uh, keeps my throat working. He teaches Shen, Qi, Jing. So Shen is soul, heart, and mind or consciousness. Soul is also spirit. In scientific terms, it's information. Heart, I never understood what heart was. Now put your mind in your heart. So I'm looking down at my physical location of my heart on my chest, and it's like, this is not meaning anything to me. So again, everything has to align with what we understand or give us a pathway. And so tonight I'm going to Shen, soul, heart, mind, and body is energy and matter, or Qi and Jing in Mandarin. Why? So that you can increase your financial flourishing. The slide says bring. So bring more first, I put it that way. So habits and beliefs, oh, wait a minute now. What do those relate to? So yes, some of this is more than basic. And I do it because if I don't go clear down to basics, then I've got some assumptions. This is my personal experience, 18 years of learning how come I didn't get the point. So we have habits that we know we have. We have built some of them, brushing your teeth. Some toothbrushes are rotary, mechanical, and loud. I use an electronic one because my dentist said that's best for you. Your mileage may vary. So do what you're told to do or suggested. So habits and beliefs. Beliefs are conscious also and unconscious. I didn't used to know that. So some of them include old money stories that are conscious. I mean, what have you heard about money, about making money? You got to work hard. You got to keep your nose to the grindstone. A penny saved is a penny earned. I used to, when I was younger, and I did it up until my mid-20s, I was watching the ground for coins and bills. And one day I found a $5 bill. And this was a long time ago when $5 at that age, that was a lot of money for me. But you may have heard that story. I collected over $47 in my lifetime, and I missed 3,700 sunrises or sunsets. So where do we have our vision? Looking for money on the ground isn't very good use of my time. You may want to, I don't. We also have inherited scarcity patterns. My mother went bankrupt 3 times because she was a single parent raising 2 children, rambunctious boys, and she didn't have much time at home because she didn't have much education, and she just did what she could. She was a scrambler, and so I learned that. She was from Oklahoma, so it's the Okie work ethic. You just do what has to be done, and I learned that well. I also learned that there's never enough money. I didn't have that consciously. I just had watched my mother for 18 years. And she had fear, uncertainty, and worry. And I picked that up also. So we don't just inherit our genes from our parents. We inherit belief systems, habits, and we start collecting those so young that we don't even know we've got them until we start looking, or sometimes people will point them out. You may have had that happen. So I began learning about energy back in the 1980s. And in terms of energy, and finances reflect our energy. What does that mean? What it means is they reflect our unconscious habits and the beliefs that we tolerate. When I read that quote, the beliefs we tolerate, I went, what? I don't tolerate my beliefs. Well, yeah, I did. I'm now refusing to when I become aware of them and changing my life. Um, and please don't think you can't teach an old dog new tricks, because that's not true. I'm still shifting, and yeah, so we can shift our habits and beliefs. And once we do that, magic, finances can then shift. Doesn't say they will, they can, because once we shift habits and beliefs, then, somebody says once, well, I've cleared the karma, right? But you don't have any new habits. So we have to build new ones. And guess what? I'm going to show you some. So we want to shift these habits and beliefs. I know you can read. We want to use, or rather, I have found it extremely beneficial to use both ancient Tao wisdom. Now, this is one part, because nothing is fixed or permanent. The quantum physicists are pointing that out. I've been studying every once in a while for the last 8 years with a quantum physicist and string theorist. Yeah, it took me a while to be able to say that. Nothing is fixed or permanent. And another old quote, change is the only constant. So hang on, and we're going to go to another step. The Tao wisdom of transformation is when you change the information, or that's the soul level, or spirit, or the core programming that we have, then our energy changes. When we change the energy, life can begin to change, or it can shrink like that, because we can recreate and do recreate. I sure did. We can recreate our old patterns, and that's not what we want to do. So let's make that a little larger again. There we go. So there's two parts here that's important to distinguish between. Number one is we change the information. So that's up in the Shen level, the soul aspect, information, spirit. And then the chi changes, energy. But then there's more. So the technique, the major technique, there's actually 6 of them, but they're one technique when you use them all together. I really like, some of you may know Paul Fletcher. He introduced a term to me about 3 years ago, well, to everybody that was watching. And he said, okay, so let's stack. And I went, that's a new one. What do you mean? And so what he said, what he began was, we were using, what were we? I think we were using sound power then. So sound power is a mantra or a chant, or sound. It's frequency, it's vibration. Ah. But then he introduced soul power. So we stack on. What's soul power? In Dr. Master Sha's teaching, soul power is say hello, greeting. So if you have the Soul, Mind, Body Medicine book, I think it's on page 30. I have a memory for pages. um, it's a simple technique. It's five things. Dear my, whatever it is, let's say my mind. I want to change my mind. Dear my mind, I love you. You have the power to change, and then we'll describe the change later. Do a good job. Thank you. So five simple points. Dear my mind, so we're identifying what we're talking to, what part of ourselves. We can say, dear my body, I love you. Like you have your left knee hurts. Dear my left knee, I love you. You have the power to transform. Do a good job. Thank you. So that's soul power. That's one aspect. That's a very simple, very powerful. There was one woman, one of the stories in one of the books that Master Sha has written. If you didn't know, he's written over 30. 11 of them were they were New York Times bestsellers. 4 of them went to #1. So a lot of demand there because they contain really powerful wisdom. Most of it is ancient wisdom. It wasn't in 2009 that he co-wrote the Soul, Mind, Body Science System book with Dr. Rulin Shu. She's the quantum physicist and string theorist. So he invited her to co-write with him to put the language that he'd been using into a wider form, accessible to more people, understandable, believable, acceptable to more people. So there's these 6 power techniques. So mind power is to direct our awareness. If we're using the, just blanked out on it, say hello greeting, and we want to heal our knee, dear my mind. So we're using our mind to focus our awareness, focus our intention. When we do that, we can replace doubt with possibility. We're doing that not consciously most of the time, but why would we do a practice if we didn't believe there was any possibility of success? So when we're doing the practices, we're replacing some doubt, maybe not all of it. I'm a skeptic about new things, but okay, let me explore that. The other part of it is we want to hold that clear vision. So focusing our intention, how clear is it? So that's a deeper step for another webcast. So that's mind power. Body power. Some of you have read this one. Where you put your hands is where the energy and transformation occurs. So hand position directs energy. Energy moves to where the hands are. And the stagnation, which is why we have issues, no energy flowing. The blood may not be flowing as well as it might. That begins to clear. So that's body power. That's #2 of the 6. Sound power. I love sound power. Ah, because sound can transform. Mantra is a form of sound. Affirmations are too. However, affirmations are created usually by the mind. The mind does not have the wisdom that the soul does, that Master Sha does, that the ancient masters and in all different traditions, indigenous and otherwise. So the mantras are grokked, they're channeled, they're intuited, but not from the mind level, from the heart, from the soul, from spirit. So mantra can reorganize our patterns. Patterns, if you ever played with those little toy cars and there was a track and they ran around on the track. So that was a pattern. Same thing with model trains. I had a model train when I was maybe 9 years old, and it would not jump the tracks. So it was going around in an oval. That's a pattern. We have patterns that we do, that we operate in. Some of them we're not aware of. So when we're using sound, and this is an important part for every one of these techniques, repetition increases the possibility of change. I like repetition increases the probability of change because that's my experience. So that's the third of the 6 power techniques, sound power. Number 4 is so important. Have you ever gone on a trip before GPS? Have you ever gone on a trip without a map and didn't get there in the most direct way? So soul power is our GPS. Now we want to connect with the Tao or source. Tao technology is the most powerful way to do things. Our soul is connected to the Tao. Tao is highest intelligence. And here's key. Most of the time, I did not ask for what I wanted. I just thought, well, I know what I want, but it wasn't clear. I didn't define it. The more we define it, the greater the likelihood is that, number 1, we'll know the best practice, and number 2, that we'll get what we want. So soul power is really important. If you have one of the 2 little white books that Master Sha wrote, Greatest Forgiveness or Greatest Love, those are so powerful. Number 1, they have a Tao calligraphy in them. That's like, wow, supercharge. However, they have 6 exercises. You find it up front in the table of contents. All 6 of them. Both of them have 6, I believe. One of them may have 7 as a bonus. So those are your roadmap because you can ask. It's in writing. Those are so easy to use. I love them. So what was that, number 4? Yeah. So what's number 5? Breath power. So I missed a point on mind power. I'll go back to it. So breath power, breath moves life energy. Now it does that all the time, but usually we don't know it. And we don't do it consciously because we don't know what we're doing. So breath circulates qi. Qi is energy. It's also spelled C-H-I. So, I did it both ways. Here's C-H-I. So circulation of qi clears blockages. Some of you are familiar with an ancient teaching called the Qi Channel. And, that's wonderful. More energy. Here's the point. I mean, how come? I always ask that. So what? Well, if you got more energy, and that's what breath circulation does, then you have more ability. So breath power is like gasoline. You've got the engine, that's you. But how much qi, how much energy do you have? Do you run out of gas after lunch? It's not just the food, it's more than that. So let's move on. So Tao calligraphy power. This is so powerful. I already mentioned the 2 books with the 2 different calligraphies in them. That's how we connect with source power. Well, so what? I mean, what's all this about? Calligraphy, ancient Chinese saying, can't say it in Mandarin, but in English, calligraphy can carry source power. So that's greater energy than qi, much greater. It's a completely different level. So when we connect with Tao calligraphy, it's important to know how to connect. And we'll do that in a minute. I have a video of Francisco Quintero teaching us how to do this. I mean, how great's that? He's got more power than I do. Been studying with Master Sha longer. Yeah. So intention. What's intention? Intention is when we put our concept together, our ideas down, clarify them, and we go, yes, I'm going to do it. So we also have to have movement. So movement equal intention plus movement equals change. And the Tao calligraphy can do that. So now let's say this another way, because this is what I found. Every time a teacher said something, sometimes I had to go to another teacher and ask him to interpret it. So everything is a field, an energy field. Beliefs are a field, or has a field, you can say it that way. Emotions are a field, or have a field, they create a field. Sound, remember sound power? Sound transforms fields. And even more powerfully, Tao calligraphy transforms fields. So you become what you chant. What you say is what you become. What you chant is what we become. Our self-talk is what we become or what we remain. And that's why it's so important to listen, to train ourselves. I've been training myself for years to listen to what is almost at the conscious level. Like, what was that thought? What was that emotion sometimes too? So emotions, negative emotions, like, well, I don't know if this is going to work. Yeah, the odds just went down that it will work with that, unless we catch that and transform it. So when we want to transform emotions, beliefs, whatever it is, the pain in our left knee, sound carries frequency. Frequency shapes our field. And here's one of the most powerful ones. This was so difficult for me. Repetition rewrites patterns. One time, unlikely, happens sometimes, but it's unlikely. And it probably won't stay because we've got all that unconscious stuff that says, well, yeah, that was an accident, or that might have happened then, probably won't happen again. So we have all that unconscious self-talk. So here's one of the main points about you become what you chant. We're chanting things unconsciously all the time. A lot of the research and also the ancient masters, uh, they say that we're 5 or 6% conscious, at the most 10%. So that means 90% of what we're feeling, thinking, believing is unconscious. And, we not only become that, but that's who we are right now. And the good news is we can change it. So before we get to Francisco and do the practice, I would like to ask you, if you want to focus on finances, okay, but that's really broad. And please don't ask for a miraculous gift, an envelope with $10,000 check in it to appear in your mailbox. That's really unlikely. Really, really unlikely. But there are things we can focus on. What is it? Why did I not get selected? And there were only, say there were only 3 applicants. They picked somebody else. How come? I didn't, I didn't know how to use Excel, for example. I didn't know how to do this or that or the other. So whatever it is that you want to transform, if you want to get another job, then what is your discomfort level with the job you have? If you're not, it might be something else. If it's like, well, I just don't get enough money. Okay. There's always a possibility of a raise. I got one once. We were so surprised. We had, a bunch of us had been hired into a brand new division. And after about 9 months, the HR department, human resources department, came around, analyzed what we did, and said, you guys, the company, you're not paying them anywhere near enough. We got a 30% raise. Just, I mean, that was just out of the blue. Now, miracles can happen, but they're pretty rare. But we can create a raise for ourselves. Didn't mean to switch slides, that letter. So on a 1 to 10 scale, whatever your choice is, 10 being the highest, just get a sense. What is the number that you would assign your discomfort level to? Something related to finances, because that's what this is all about tonight. You can experiment with something else at another time. Tonight, you're going to get the most out of this evening, this hour, and we're halfway through already. Yeah, so then the next half hour is even more important. I've just kind of set the stage for Francisco because he's next. So let's experience it. Francisco Quintero is the leading teacher, almost the oldest teacher. He's been studying with Dr. and Master Sha for something like 25 years. Every, I think, I'm not sure, but every course that anybody goes through, he examines it before it's signed off on. So he's got familiarity that's just beyond what I can imagine. Now, here's the good news. You're going to get a YouTube video with this slideshow, and you're going to have Francisco, you're going to have this embedded in here. All you have to do is click on it and listen.
To understand finances and why you may have blockages in your finances, how to transform the finances, is that there's a connection between the physical bank with your virtue bank. There's a connection between your virtue bank and your physical bank. There's a flow. There's an exchange of energy that is happening every moment, every second. Right now, there's energy that's flowing between heaven and Mother Earth, your virtue bank and your physical bank. Okay? So there's this energy exchange that's happening. So how do so this flow of energy is what's the key to understand. What you want is you want this very full, okay? What does that mean to be very full here? It means you are offering love, care, compassion, good acts of kindness, all the beautiful, good things of human beings that what we do, okay? How do you reduce this? It gets reduced by unpleasant acts, okay? Negativity, complaining, okay? Fighting, all the unpleasant, negative behaviors, actions.
Oh, Terry, I can't hear Francisco anymore. I don't know if it's just me.
Messages
I can't hear
about
him either.
finances, then positive.
Good.
I can't
Okay,
hear
thank you.
anything either.
Oh, I just heard it
Wait
for
a
a second, but yeah.
So could anyone hear Francisco?
Just a little bit of it.
Yeah, in the beginning we did. And then it
I can
stopped.
hear him.
And then it went back.
One at
Yeah.
a time, please. So somebody said they could hear some.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hear him for a
Yes.
while, and then it went silent. And then as soon as somebody said we can't hear him, he came back on. And then you came on and we lost it.
And Jennifer just posted it. She could not hear. Okay. So I don't know how to fix that because it worked when I tested it. I have two laptops. That's the good news. But you will receive the link to this. I will make sure that it gets into the email that you get when you get these slides. So I regret that. For those of you who are not familiar with the practice, the lower dantian is a fist-size energy center. It's fist size, whatever size your fist is. It's just below the navel. So if you put your fist together and put your thumb in your navel and then just roll it down, it's right inside your body at that point. It's not physical, it's an energy center. So that is the money center. It's one of two. The heart chakra, also, it's the storehouse of all information, positive and negative. So that's where we can transform finances also. But what he was going to teach, what he has taught before, I've watched that video more than once, is what we want to use are the 6 power techniques. So number one, first of all, I request, please close your eyes and imagine, now this is one of the aspects of mind power, imagine a sphere of golden light right there, fist size of your fist, may appear larger, and it's right inside your, just inside your body, just below the navel. So that fist-size energy center. What we now want to do is use sound to vibrate it. One of the powerful sounds for the lower dantian, because that's where one of the 10 greatest qualities of Tao, Da Chang Shang, that's where that sphere of our connection portal to light is. So the sound for that is ha. So, and also we can use body power to tap instead of just holding our fist there. We can gently tap. Ha, 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 ha. And imagine as we're doing that. So I could not do all of these at once. If you can't, no worries. It takes practice. So ha, ha. I'm tapping on just below my navel. Ha, 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 ha. So that's mind power, body power, and sound power. Now let's add soul power, because that's one of the most important ones. If you want to transform your finances, then you don't want to be thinking about your left knee and the pain that you've got in that. So we want to say something like, we're going to say hello. We'll use the say hello greeting. Dear my lower dantian, I love you. You have the power to transform my finances. Do a great job. Thank you. Ha, 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 ha. Now we could also put breath power with it and Tao calligraphy power, but I don't have a calligraphy that I can set up here in a short time frame. So if you have a calligraphy in a book, if you have a calligraphy card, if you have one of the framed calligraphies, if you have any kind of a calligraphy, you can go online. You can go look up in the bar and you can type in YouTube Master Zhi Tao Calligraphy, and you get a whole list of slides. You can look through those and find Tao calligraphy, and then you can begin to play it and then freeze the frame, and ha, ha, I'm tapping, ha, ha. Don't forget the mind power. Without mind power, you may be making your big toe heal. You may be making your hair grow. Sorry, I couldn't resist doing that. That hasn't worked with me since chemo. So the practices, those 6 power techniques, they're the most important that I've found, because we can self-transform. We can also connect with a master teacher. We can connect to different programs that Master Sha and his top teachers have. Their free programs that are online. I keep saying Master Sha, Dr. and Master Zhi Gang Sha, because in my experience, I haven't found anybody that's been more effective for me. Some people say, he's the greatest healer in the world. I haven't met everybody. I don't know. So I'm not going to say that. He's the most, he saved my life back in 2008. That's why I continued to study with him. I wanted to know what else he knew. So let me now go back to the slides and share. There we go. And this was not going to work. Oh, darn. Come on. Thank you. So I changed the slides from back up here where the heading was in this reddish color to the greens. And why did I do that? Because I wanted to shift from teaching mode to heart mode, to experience mode, and to say things in a different way. So what we've been doing, and you've done it just now, you've done if you were doing any of this practice, if you were just listening, there was some transformation going on at the unconscious level. You may have felt something. We are living systems. So when we examine ourselves, our lives, our experiences through a wider lens, we're living systems. Nothing stays the same. We're shaped by sound and intention, and it's our practice. So we have to know the best techniques. We have to use more and more, and you may not be able to use all 6 techniques at once. I couldn't. It took me several years just to be able to visualize light in my lower dantian, for example, and repeat sound at the same time. It's like walking and chew gum. I couldn't do it. So we changed our system just in that short time. So I'm wondering, if you experienced a shift, you may not identify it, because I couldn't at first. I work with people all the time. And some of them are brand new to experiencing what's going on in their own body, in their own mind, in their own emotions. And they've just never thought about it. I hadn't either. So yeah, I know the steps. So is your body more calm than it was? Or are you still disrupted? Are you frustrated because the video didn't play? I'm disappointed, but I've trained myself not to be frustrated anymore, because that's too unbalanced. It stops me from functioning, from getting what I want. You may have a shift in how you feel about finances. For example, you may now have more hope. It's like, okay, where's that video at? I want to use that. I mean, Francisco Quintero is a top teacher. He was in Netherlands, and then he went to India representing Master Sha, and he was in Delhi and Mumbai. In India, it was several towns in the Netherlands, and this Friday he's going to be in France, co-teaching with Laura Le Corley. He'll speak English. She'll probably speak French mostly. She's from France originally. So when he's teaching, it's so powerful. I've registered, even though I have to get up at 1 a.m. So whether or not you felt a shift doesn't mean that it didn't occur. What it means is, what it meant for me is it took a lot of repetition for me to, number one, recognize it, and number two, to be able to recreate what I did to feel it. Because I had so many disbeliefs. And some were conscious over time. I had some teachers pointed out to me over time. And then I had to go in and correct them. And at one point, have you ever walked up a teeter-totter when, one end is on the ground, there's nobody on the other end? When you get up about halfway, that's the fulcrum point, right? And if you put one foot over enough, that board, that teeter-totter will begin to tilt. And I remember playing with that because I was always liking to do things physically. And so I'd get up there and I would move my weight. I didn't weigh very much then. So I had to spread my legs really apart, and then I'd lean over to the right, and it would slowly begin to shift. And then I'd lean back, and it would finally begin to shift the other way. So that's what it's like to work with our subconscious. The shifts don't come immediately most of the time. So when we begin to change, we want to be gentle without judging ourselves, without disparaging or blaming the teacher that, well, you told me that, I tried it, it didn't work. Oh, how many times did you try it? Well, when you were teaching it. How long? Oh, a couple of minutes. Well, it took me a couple of hours. And I had to learn how to do it. So the patterns that we have were learned when we were really young. And we've got really deep unconscious beliefs that hold them in place. And I do not believe that anybody has cleared all of their subconscious negative patterns. But we change when we begin to allow new awareness. And with repetition, it happened for me. And, I was a basket case. With repetition, patterns change. So you know how it works now. It's an inside job. So refine your desire. If you're not clear, email me and I'll make you some suggestions. So focus on your desire. Understand exactly what it is and what might it take to transform it. I had an urgent text and then a call just an hour before this began. So I didn't get the ribbon at the top solved because this other person was in pretty big pain. And the messages that they were getting, or I was getting for them about why that pain, was from a completely different place than I've ever experienced them. And so I had to focus on my desire. I wanted to understand. And I had to ask enough questions to begin to understand what the answer was. It's not as easy sometimes as going, well, I'll just sign up online and get the basics for Excel. When we're dealing with ourselves, it's as complex as Excel, but there's no online course for it. It's mostly a do-it-yourself job, but you know how to do it. It's an inside job. There are 6 PowerPoints, and those 6 power techniques, those are Tao techniques. That's not human stuff. That's what the masters, the quantum physicists, and others. The other part is, if you replay the Francisco video enough, that particular one on finances, and I'm going to put the link, not just because it might not play again when you get the link and look at the slide deck. I'm going to make sure that you have the exact link so that you can go to it online your own way. The more you replay that, my experience, the more I replayed it, the more I heard what I hadn't heard before. So there's level after level. And with me, I worked and spent money, focused, learned different things for 12 years. And finally, I'm building a website like I have always wanted to have. It's not done yet, but I know all the pieces. I have somebody who's done it before with that particular program. Everything is there. He knows how to hook up the back end and make it all work. And I'm so committed because, I know it's an inside job and it's an outside job. We have to learn what's outside that we can access. And then we have to learn to transform our own stuff. So this is the end slide, and it has my email address, and it's written this way, so the web bots can't grab it and spam me. And I'll ask Holly or Sharon to put it in the chat for those of you who don't have it. What I'd like to do now, since we have, we've got at least 8 minutes for questions that we wouldn't have had if the video had been working. So what are your questions? If you want to type them, that's okay.
Any chance you could put the video link in the chat?
Let me do that while other people are maybe chatting. So I have to go here. I have to get that ring light out of my eyes. I've got 100 tabs open, I think. That is, ooh, I think that is it. Come on, open up. No, that's it's a different one. I must have gone past it. This is like driving in a snowstorm with headlights in your eyes. There it is. Okay. So let me copy. Oops, quit moving. Copy that. Come back here. And I'll say, what does this say? Francisco finances video. It's on YouTube, so it means it's very solid and it won't disappear. Well, it might, but there we go. So thank you for asking. It is now in the chat. You may not be able to copy and paste it, but if you click on it, it will open up in your device. The copy paste function is something that frustrates a lot of people. We used to be, and Zoom changes things. So they may have changed something. Let's see, please contact me. Rewind it, rewind didn't work. Wouldn't have worked for that. Okay, anything else? And welcome those of you who jumped on after I was not able to watch and see who was here. Any questions? Well, you will receive an email. You registered, so your email is captured by Zoom, and we can print and send you emails from what you signed in with. So that'll be the email that it goes to. So thank you for showing up. I'm disappointed. I regret that that video did not play because it played for me. And that's life.
Terry, I have a quick question.
Yes.
Earlier in our session, you said that we could call you or contact you if
Email. Yeah.
we needed suggestions or ideas for what was that again? We use
If you don't, this is about finances. If you're not able to clearly define what your focus would be related to finances, because there's areas of finances, and then there's levels too. So, for those of you who would like a one-time gift, be happy to. I can also do readings. Those require some kind of an honor fee, but that's a separate thing. Did that answer your question, Wendy Lynn?
No, that was not a question. Is that your question?
I'll be reaching out for some suggestion, Terry.
Great.
Because I don't really know. I'm just having some difficulty grasping.
I understand. Been there with a lot of areas of life. Yeah.
That's me. That is me too. So yes, you will be hearing from me. Thank you, Terry.
You're welcome. Anyone else? If not, I will.
Is there a secret to copying that link to Francisco?
The link you may not be able to copy.
Okay.
If you click on it, it will open up in your device. There's too many devices, and so I can't tell you exactly where it will be.
Okay, that's all right. I wrote it down. I just thought I was trying to learn something new. Okay. Thank you,
Wonderful.
thank you, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Terry.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you.
Happy to do this. I struggled so much for so many years that if I can share anything that moves a boulder out of the road for somebody else, I just feel really good.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Thanks, Terry.
So thank you. Thank you so much for coming. And you'll get the slides, and you'll also get the YouTube link, so you can play that video a different way. And I'll go back to ChatGPT and say, how come they couldn't hear? I could, they couldn't. ChatGPT is a wonderful resource. You do have to check it to make sure that it's accurate. Don't make investments based on it, but or a diagnosis. Yeah. Anyway, thank you so much. And next Wednesday, you'll have another, and there won't be a video, I don't believe. You will have a wonderful master teacher that everybody loves, and you'll find out who it is soon. Until then, aloha, sayonara, ciao, namaste, adios.